Welcome to the Workplace Minute, powered by H3HR Advisors, your quick briefing on what's important in the world of work. This week, we're exploring 5 major ways the newly passed Big Beautiful Bill will impact work, workplaces, and workers in the U.S., some of which may be news to you. The Workplace Minute is brought to you by our friends at WorkHuman, the technology company helping organizations build more human-centered workplaces. If you care about the future of work, make sure to subscribe and share these episodes with your colleagues. My name is Steve Boese. Today's topic, controversial and potentially impactful change for millions of service workers, the no tax on tips provision. Included in the bill is a new tax break that allows tip workers to exclude up to $25,000 in reported tip income from their federal income tax starting with the 2025 tax year. The deduction begins to phase out for individuals earning above $150,000 annually or $300,000 for married couples filing jointly, and is scheduled to sunset at the end of 2028 unless extended. And it's important to note that this exemption only applies to federal income tax. Tip workers will still owe Social Security, Medicare, and payroll taxes on their earnings, along with any applicable state or local income taxes. So who'll be impacted by this? According to data from Yale's Budget Lab, there are approximately 4.3 million workers in traditionally tipped jobs, like restaurant servers, bartenders, salon workers, rideshare drivers, and hotel staff. These workers are disproportionately young, with a median age of 31, compared to 41 for the overall workforce, and roughly one-third are under 25. An industry still struggling with post-pandemic labor shortages, this provision is being seen as both a recruiting tool and a form of economic relief. Supporters of the policy, including many Republican lawmakers and restaurant industry advocates, argue that it's a long overdue change. They point to the fact that tips are discretionary, they're often unpredictable, and that taxing them feels unfair when these workers are already among the lowest paid in the economy. According to estimates from the House Ways and Means Committee, the average tip worker could see around $1,300 in annual tax savings. The National Restaurant Association and other hospitality groups have applauded the move, suggesting it could improve morale, retention, and take-home pay during a time when many service businesses are still struggling to fill their roles. But not everyone's on board. Critics, including labor economists, progressive policy analysts, and some of the workers themselves, say these benefits are overstated. For one, 37% of tip workers already owe no federal income tax, meaning this change won't benefit them at all. And others point out that the policy does nothing to address the federal tip minimum wage, which still sits at just $2.13 per hour, unchanged since 1991. Some fear that by relieving tax burdens on tips without raising the base hourly wage, the policy might actually incentivize employers to continue relying on tips rather than increasing guaranteed hourly pay. There's also concern that higher income tip workers like hairstylists, makeup artists, and certain rideshare drivers stand to benefit the most, while lower income restaurant workers may see little impact. Meanwhile, economists have flagged the temporary nature of the provision as a challenge for both workers and employers. Since it expires after 2028, the lack of permanence could limit its effectiveness or lead to confusion around future tax obligation. Still, the debate raises interesting questions. Is this provision a meaningful step towards worker equity, or just a short-term political win? Will it improve recruitment in hard-to-staff sectors, or encourage further wage stagnation? And could it pave the way for broader reforms, or simply distract from them? Whatever your view, the no tax on tips policy is one of the most headline-grabbing and worker-facing provisions of the One Big Beautiful Bill. It touches wages, tax fairness, generational equity, and the way we value service work in America. That's it for today's Workplace Minute. Tomorrow we'll explore another key piece of the bill, a change to how employee overtime will be treated for tax purposes. Quiet but potentially powerful shift for workers and businesses alike. Thanks to WorkHuman for sponsoring the Workplace Minute. If you care about the future of work, subscribe and share this episode with your colleagues. And we'll see you next time. This has been Steve Boese for the Workplace Minute, powered by H3HR Advisors.